Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this edition of the G-1 Champions League Asia Qualifier. And this, I'm not going to lie, just right out the gate, this is a match I think I've been looking forward to more than just about any other match ever since Rattlesnake made their debut, and I'll tell you why. We'll start with LGD International. The fan-favorite international squad rolls into play today, having shown us some impressive Dota of late, but still looking to find their stride in spring. They're 5-4 in their last 9 series, but don't let that record fool you. Any team that can finish in second place in G League isn't a team to be taken lightly. Now, that 5-4 record is actually more impressive than the percentages would indicate, as the list of teams that the squad has faced in 2013 is an absolute meat grinder of Dota talent. What losses they've had have come at the hands of teams like Invictus Gaming, Orange, and their brothers in battle at LGD China. Their wins have been of similar caliber, though. They've gotten past Tongfu and MUFC to go with their G1 wins over Neolution International of VG Gaming. Now, today, LGD International faces a looming threat in the underbrush as they've already claimed a major casualty in these early games of Phase 3. The scouting report on their opponents is sparse, so they're going to need to look to fall back on their solid gameplay, their fantastic drafting and communication to avoid being the next team bitten. Rattlesnake, on the other hand, and this is the team that has so many people interested, the new team of old veterans is quickly becoming the hottest topic in Asian Dota, and for good reason. They're a team led by Lanham, of former E-Home fame, staffed with Dota veterans and playmakers at every position. Rattlesnake was little more than a curiosity when they rolled into Phase 2 of the Asia Qualifiers, but now after having beat MUFC, and certainly after beating Orange with a lopsided 2-0 game score, they're a team considered by many to be one of the best outside of China, but they beat Orange, who was considered a team one of the best outside of China, and Rattlesnake has really gained a lot of attention. Now, they're led by Lanham with Kabu as his second in command, and they play a fearless brand of Dota. They sport strong, creative drafting. Their compositions tend to be reliant on individual skill and execution. You combine that with the top-notch communication and crafty decision-making that we've seen at every position so far, and you've got a team that's ready to live up to its predatory name. So the picks and the bans are moving quickly. I'm going to jump into this as quickly as I can, but wanted to give you guys some background because this is really an important match for both of these teams. Rattlesnake, again, having beaten Orange. Orange will still have to play LGD International, but LGD International has been beaten by Orange 3 times in their last 3 meetings. So if Rattlesnake gets a win here today, they're going to be a favorite to come out of this group. If not directly, that might still be LGD China for very good reasons. But outside of that team, Rattlesnake is going to be a favorite to finish very high here in this group. So very important game for both squads. LGD certainly wanting to bounce back from their recent loss to their brothers-in-arms, LGD China. Now, taking a look at the bans and the picks, we can already see Rattlesnake actually taking a page out of LGD International's playbook, and I love this from them. Shadow Demon, Leshrac, 2 heroes that LGD International absolutely loves to run. Now, LGD did get Lone Druid, and it's kind of been a running joke with myself and some of the other casters that if you're in G1 and you want to win, all you got to do is pick Lone Druid. Just pick Lone Druid. I think I've seen Lone Druid picked probably 8-9 times so far here in the G1 Asia Qualifier, and I've seen him win every game but one. Lone Druid, just such a strong hero, gives you so much versatility in what you can do with your lanes. You can take different approaches in building him, depending on what your game plan is going to be. He tanks up okay once he gets going, so he is a hero you can leave alone, and you can just rely on TP reactions to bail him out if there is some sort of a gank attempt. Not the most mobile hero at any stage in the game, but that's not really the point of the hero. The point of the hero is just to be a monster that has to be accounted for by the enemy team, or he's just going to take the game over later on. But LGD getting Lifestealer and Lone Druid both, that gives them plenty of punching power in all stages of the game. And with the Rubik pickup here as well as the Lone Druid, what I suspect we're going to see out of LGD International is going to be an offensive tri-lane. They'll look to pick up one more high-tier support. Oh, they're going to get a Gyro. Absolutely love that. Don't know that Gyro is going to be a support Gyro or not. They could feasibly run in mid if they're anticipating Magnus going in. That's actually a really smart pickup if that's the direction they want to go. Magnus, I mean, Magnus is a pain to deal with. He can use Shockwave to get last hits in situations when otherwise he might struggle a little bit more. But with Flat Cannon from Gyrocopter, he's never really going to be under much of a threat because he will be keeping Magnus at a pretty low health, and Rune Control going to be very important. So already, we've got a lot of team fight potential coming out of LGD International. Rattlesnake, though, they have a fantastic lane start with Shadow Demon and Leshrac, and those are 2 heroes, again, that LGD International is known for. They love to put those heroes together in a lane. They love to have the Disruption followed up with the Split Earth, and then from there, it doesn't even really matter what else you have there. If you've got another hero there to do damage, it's usually going to be a dead enemy, unless they just happen to have a great counter initiation. So LGD potentially looking to either pick up a mid or pick up another support following that gyrocopter pick, and obviously we'll have to wait to see where that gyro is going to wind up. But I still am sniffing that offensive tri-lane with the Lifestealer and the Rubik. Rubik with Telekinesis is just such an unbelievable threat in an offensive tri-lane position. Telekinesis, one of the best ways to start a fight at level 1, absolutely, no doubt about it. Then if you can get a follow-up stun and then you have open wounds from Lifestealer to prevent any sort of decent retreat from a hero that does get caught out, it just becomes very deadly very quickly. But Rattlesnake showing us a Queen of Pain. More than likely means we're going to end. Oh, nice silencer pickup. Okay, now that's interesting. And now it's almost impossible to tell what they're going to want to do here. Queen of Pain and silencer can go mid against one another. Gyrocopter struggles a lot more against Queen of Pain than against the Magnus, and that's exactly why Rattlesnake picked the Queen of Pain up. Was going to say Magnus most likely going to be paired up with the Lone Druid. He'll end up going to that off lane to match up with Lone Druid in the solo safe lane if International does indeed decide to run the offensive tri-lane. But that silencer could run in the offensive tri-lane. He could run mid. Same with gyrocopter. So LGD certainly has their options open to them. The one thing that stands out right now for Rattlesnake, and what has to be a major concern for them, is they are 100% all in on magic damage. I mean, they've got a great skill set, lots of ways to do damage, great synergy between the heroes. You've got reverse polarity splitters when it's maxed out, has an AoE that is really quite large. So if you're able to reverse polarity 2 or 3 heroes and Leshrack's in position, it's almost a guaranteed 2 or 3 man stun to follow it up. Now they're going to get their Alchemist, and that's okay. I don't mind the Alchemist pickup here one little bit. The problem is Alchemist needs a lot of space to operate, and he's going to be farming against a Lone Druid and a Lifestealer and a Gyrocopter. LGD, I feel like, has a lot more well-rounded damage. They do have some spammable abilities of their own in the Fade Bolt and in Gyrocopter's Flat Cannon, of course, to say nothing of Call Down, and the massive amount of single-target magic damage that can be poured on by Rocket Barrage if Gyro can manage to isolate himself against one enemy hero. So LGD has a mixed bag of damage, so to speak. Rattlesnake, though, going to be very reliant on getting a lot out of their magic damage and their teamfight synergy early on to try and buy time for that Alchemist to get his gold up, to get caught up to the Lone Druid. And Alchemist, again, working out of an offensive tri-lane, he's a hero that can do quite well there. Make no mistake. He's not a hero that is going to is not going to be fight back, and it all comes down to how they want to build him. On Luo, I would really like to see, if he does end up in that offensive tri-lane, they could do something weird here. And yeah, we've got 3 moving down to bottom from Rattlesnake. Yeah, they're going to solo lane the Queen of Pain. So this is interesting. And, I mean, whenever you see heroes picked up like this, you have 3 heroes, honestly 4 if you count Leshrack, but 3 heroes on Rattlesnake that could viably run mid. And if they could viably run mid, they can certainly viably run a solo lane against another solo hero. So, but this is a very interesting approach to the lanes here. Not really anticipated, and that's half the point, I do believe, for Rattlesnake. And I'm anxious to see how LGD wants to lane this out. They haven't spotted anything out as of yet. The Bear is making his way up here, though. And if he's able to spot out Ayesee, that'll be a big tip-off. And we can already see Ayesee cheating himself to the north of the tower just to make sure that when LGD does begin to form their lanes up, they have no idea what's going to be coming at them. But looking at this offensive tri-lane out of Rattlesnake, if this is indeed what they're going to end up doing, and it does seem that's going to be the case. I mean, Alchemist in mid is not completely unheard of. It's just not something seen all that often. He is very gankable because he does not have any decent escape mechanism whatsoever. He's tankier than most heroes at level 1, but still, depending on how he skills himself as well. Unstable Concoction is a fantastic stun that works not just on a single target, but if you're really accurate with it, in an AoE as well. But it's not a get-out-of-trouble ability. It's an ability that you use to be on the offensive, not on the defensive. So he will be open to a lot of pressure once they figure out what's going on. And this is really smart out of LGD. And it looks like the Bear must have spotted the Queen of Pain. I'm going to guess that's what happened. And LGD now going to react to this. Now, this offensive tri-lane coming out of Rattlesnake is problematic. Not for LGD International, but it's going to be hard for them to execute. The damage they're going to be looking to get here is going to be, again, very reliant on magic damage. In fact, I mean, there is no right click here to speak of whatsoever. It's all about disruption, all about hitting splitter. It's all about hitting, using Edict and Shockwave for damage. And up against a Lifestealer who's actually going to engage on Lanham. Lanham gets the disruption off. That might be enough to buy him the time he needs. Great splitter. No, actually, he missed that. Misjudged it a little bit. The disruption bought him just enough time to get out of trouble, though. So Rattlesnake dodges a bullet early on. Both, I guess you could say he dodges a rocket early on because of that disruption. But again, because of Rage on Lifestealer, he's actually started with open wounds, so he's not going to have it at level 1, but he will have it soon. Rattlesnake, I don't think, is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on here. They have some escape mechanisms in Disruption and in Skewer, so I don't know that it's going to be the easiest thing in the world for LGD to kill them off either. But just the way Rage works makes it very hard to apply any kind of decent pressure to a Lifestealer in this situation, especially when he has some high-tier supports and, most notably, Misery on the Gyrocopter. You have to be very careful on how you decide to fight against any tri-lane that has a support Gyrocopter. He most likely will be maxing his Rocket Barrage. Obviously, his first point went there. And once that Rocket Barrage is maxed out, you're talking 690 damage on a single target if he's able to isolate himself there. Even if he's not, even if he's only able to split it up across 2 or 3 heroes, that's still 200, 300 damage to every hero that's near him. So you're talking a lot of damage output. Haste Rune spotted out by Lanham. And he's going to go ahead and give the old end around. He's going to spot Misery. Oh, Misery doing good damage already. Has him down to half health, but with that haste rune, there's a disruption. Here comes the rest of Rattlesnake. Good splitter to follow it up. This should be our first blood, and it will. Lanham guessing right at the right time. Catching Misery out, and the reaction out of his teammates just not there. We'll run through our lineups as quickly as I can, and taking a look at how he's actually maxing his acid spray. Now, this is interesting, and this is a good response to this mid-silencer. Been paying a lot of attention to this bottom lane, so I haven't had a chance to really analyze the other lanes or run through who's going to be handling what heroes in what lane. But getting the acid spray guarantees that Luo is going to be able to find his last hits. He's going to be able to shove the creep wave up under God's tower when he wants. God has range, but still, I mean, yeah, like now Luo can just walk down here. He can be very confident and trying to take what last hits he can. He's going to have to be careful of Last Word. I mean, you're going to see, yeah, already the damage on Last Word quite high. He's got 2 points into that and 2 points into Glaives of Wisdom, so not worrying about Curse of the Silent one little bit. But again, this bottom lane really going to be the make or break lane for both teams, I think. Rattlesnake so far is doing quite admirably down here. They got their first blood. That in and of itself is a pretty big win. The farm on the Lifestealer, though, relatively unimpeded. And in fact, he's right on par with the top on the board, which is our silencer. So up here at top, we've got Ayesee up against Pycat. This should be an okay lane for Pycat. I mean, and Pycat an exceptional Lone Druid player anyway. It's one thing to play against a Lone Druid in that situation in most cases, but you're playing against one of the most talented Lone Druid players on the planet. And Pycat just excellent on the hero. We can already see a lot of pressure being applied to Ayesee as it is. He does have his experience, though, so getting the levels he needs at the very least. And not really hurting in last hits either. He's got 12. And he should be able to apply even more pressure to Pycat as time goes on, as he gets more points into his abilities, so on and so forth. But we are 4 minutes in, but how about, I'm just so worried to move the camera away from this lane. There's so much kill potential, or so much engagement potential. The kill potential on both sides is there, but the counter initiation is there on both sides as well, so really hard to anticipate what's going to happen. Looks like there is a little bit of lag, and yeah, I was actually getting that too, Misery. Glad it wasn't just me. I saw a lot of animation skipping, but that gives me just enough time to run through who's handling who, as we saw. On the unfortunate end of our first blood, that was Misery handling our Gyrocopter on the side of LGD International. 1437 will be playing on Rubik. Silencer, as mentioned, handled by God here in mid. Lifestealer will be played by Brax. Brax, a fantastic Lifestealer player, a great guy to watch if you want to learn how to play Lifestealer a little bit better. So if you're watching this in-game or on stream, and you're saying, you know what, I really wish I could watch a good pro player on Lifestealer so I could learn the hero better. Brax is a real good one to watch. Lifestealer, excuse me, the Lone Druid, going to be handled, as mentioned, by Pycat on the other side of the river. Rattlesnake, who leads 1-0 right now, first blood under their belt, due to, in large part, Lanham here, finding that haste rune, the team captain and the progenitor of the Rattlesnake squad. Got to be real happy with his team's performance so far. Queen of Pink going to be handled by Ayesee, and we can see he is applying pressure to Pycat now, and I told you there was potential for that. Hold that thought. A lot of movement into the jungle again. Would love to finish out the lineups. Kabu, who has been, well, hold on, there's the open wounds and the telekinesis. Rocket Barrage is there and nothing to suck the damage out. They will end up getting the kill. Wand charge is not enough to keep him alive. And that's what I was talking about so far as telekinesis, just the way these heroes work together in an offensive sort of a position. Open wounds, telekinesis, Rocket Barrage, so much damage. And you can just be nuked down to nothing in such a short amount of time by this LGD International squad. Back to Kabu. Showed us a death there, but Kabu, by far one of the best players consistently throughout G1 so far, has just played an amazing clockwork every time he gets his hands on the hero. And Not seeing it this time. We'll see if he's as competent on Magnus as he is on the clock. Seems like we did see him play Magnus recently. Split Earth going to miss on Brax, so took a shot in the dark sag, though. Came up with a miss. We're 5.5 minutes in. We've got 2 kills on the board. And finally, I think I've run through our lineups and gotten things established. Now, what's going to be real important here out of Rattlesnake is what they decide to do with this Queen of Pain. We are going to see her apply more pressure to Pycat. Pycat doing okay for right now. It looks like he's going to be on his way to Tranquil Boots. Nice call there. Region going to be spotted out by Rattlesnake as they are still continuing to do a pretty good job down here in this bottom lane. 28 last hits for God, #1 on the board, so he's off to a great start. I want to see how they build this Silencer as well. Are they going to build him as a semi-carry, as a full carry, as an off-carry? And make no mistake, Silencer can freaking carry in the late game. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Glaives of Wisdom, if he gets off to a good start, starts netting kills early on, he can carry and will carry very, very hard. It's just a question of what you want to do with him until the mid and late game. Do you build a 4-staff, or do you take this farm and rush a mech? That way you can start to push a lot earlier on the power of your supports plus the Lone Druid. Lone Druid has had a decent start. He's at 16. Queen of Pain, though, and yeah, basically what I said. As the laning phase went on, Queen of Pain got more and more levels. The strength of the hero, very level-dependent, very ability-dependent. And we can see she's actually pulled ahead of Pycat considerably in terms of farm, leading him by 10 now, 25 to 18. So not quite 10, but close. A little bit of pressure looking to come out of Rattlesnake now as they've rotated 2 more to mid. They want to bring down God, and Alchemist and the Silencer share the exact same weakness in the fact that neither of them have any real decent escape mechanism. They don't have any real decent stun that can be relied upon on short notice. And here we go. Disruption, Soul Catcher, here comes the TP. They are going to get him for sure. And 1437 is going to land, but he doesn't have any help. He's going to telekinesis 1 and spin the Fade Bolt, but that's 2 kills. And 1437 came by himself. Misery didn't have a TP, could not join his buddy. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication there, just assuming he could get there before they brought God down. But that right there is a good example of how you want to use your unstable concoction if you're Alchemist. That's how you want to make that happen. Hold on to it. Use other abilities and other stuns to buy you time to get it to a full charge. And even at level 1, if it's fully charged, it's got a great duration and has a decent amount of damage. So far, things going the way of Rattlesnake, getting a lot out of their lineup. And Alchemist is going to die Pycat. Down goes the Acid Spray. There's the Unstable Concoction. Here comes the TP reaction. Global Silence popped by God out of mid. And Brax going to protect his buddy. Not about to let the Lone Druid die that way. That was actually really ballsy out of Rattlesnake. I'm surprised they even did that. That was just basically Luo just going for it. And decent attempt. They got away, so not a big disaster or anything. Just a little bit of wasted time. Here in mid now, we can see Lanham soaking up some experience. Buddy's up against 2. God plus 1437. Alchemist will make his way back to mid in the meantime. And Lanham likely to just go heal up before he doubles back into lane. Take a look at Magnus. He's got 20 last hits, and given this was an offensive tri-lane, he's a melee hero. I'm really impressed with that. He's got his arc boots up already. Has a magic stick, and now going to begin probably the long trek to saving for his Blink Dagger. Pycat has rotated down to bottom, so LGD not liking the way these lanes were looking. Now they've got Brax farming at top. He's going to be helped out by Misery. And a lot of lane switching now out of both teams. Trying to figure out how best this will suit them. Pycat obviously should not have too much trouble up against a Magnus, especially now that he has his Tranquil Boots up. The Bear with an Orb of Venom as well, going to make it tough for Kabu to come forward and last hit at all. And we're going to see Luo telekinesis back. No follow-up, though. Again, the problem with the Silencer, as strong as the hero can be, just doesn't have any real decent stun. Last Word has been maxed out, so absolutely excellent in terms of the damage he can do with that ability. Brax, though, has made his way to top. He's now the top farmer on the board. And that's exactly where they want him. I mean, of the two, of the Lone Druid and the Life Stealer, if you want one hero to be a bit behind 10 minutes, Lone Druid is the one that you can stand to be a bit behind at 10 minutes. He's gonna make up some space. He's gonna find his farm in the jungle, out of the jungle, in lane, and what have you. But having the Life Stealer off to a good start, extremely important. He has gone phase. I love this build. He's gonna go phase drums and possibly an armlet afterwards. And I'll tell you, it's just such a more stable way to build a Life Stealer than you often see. I mean, Phase Boots is no big surprise. Sometimes you'll see treads come out, but either way, that's fine. But going with the drums before the armlet gives you much better mana pool, gives you nice stack gain, up and Ayesee. is going to be under some pressure here. Has enough mana. Oh, actually, he's only got 1 point in the blink. Only 1 point in the blink being pursued down. That homing missile is going to be on him. 1 second, and he can blink away. Here's the TP. Homing missile is going to connect. Now Alchemist charging back out. Unstable Concoction will be spent, and Brax just rages through it. No problem. Taking that right in the mouth. In the meantime, we got pressure heading the way of Pycat. Sag and Lanham have made their way to bottom. They're going to hook up with Magnus. Magnus is level 6, almost level 7. He has an RP if he wants to spend it just to bring down the Druid. And Lanham and Sag both hanging back for the moment. Pycat staying in a very defensive position, just using the bear to last hit as best he can for the moment. Up at top, Luo has joined Brax, farming in this direction. Gonna pop his ult and use Acid Spray to keep himself safe. Now we've got 4 making their way to bottom. And this just goes to show you how much they fear this lone Druid. Ayesee hooking up with the rest of his teammates. And they've got every... Oh, the bear's gonna spot Lanham. The bear spotted Lanham. So he knows the jig is up. Ayesee gonna give some right-click damage to the Panda. Luo has taken some damage at top as well. Not off to the best start in history. He's just got treads and a wand. Not awful, but not the best. He's sitting at 32 last hits. Goblin's Greed, once he gets a few more points into that, will certainly allow him to make up some distance as well, though. So, not the biggest deal in the world. Back to God. I kind of mentioned he has got treads. Still not a whole lot you can read from that. But what I want to see is what they're going to build on him. Force Staff would be a nice choice, of course. Even something like Drums, even though Drums are on the way. On Lifestealer, Drums a good choice on a hero like Lifestealer. And now the Global Silence is going to be spent. God brought down. And Brax is going to react. Uses the open wounds. Kabu going to spin the RP. Says, that's fine. I can hang on to that, brother. And now he's going to rage away. In the meantime, at bottom, Pycat continues to be under a considerable amount of pressure here. And Rattlesnake is just playing this beautifully. They are pressuring everywhere on the map at once. And Luo, even though he was, of all the heroes on the side of Rattlesnake, Luo probably was hung out to dry more in the laning phase than anyone. And he's doing okay. In fact, he's sitting above the Lone Druid, as is Magnus. And Kabu, again, continues to impress, man. And it's not that he's made any fantastic plays so far or anything like that. What is so damn impressive is what he's a player who takes something, or takes nothing and makes something out of it. He took an offensive tri lane that did not look like it was going to get much done. They got a first blood. That certainly helped, and that, of course, due a little bit to luck. Lanham picking up that haste rune and catching Misery at just the right time. But in a situation where he wasn't expected to really farm that well, he's managed to get himself off to a good start. And managed to keep himself alive, more importantly. Tier 1 bottom now going to be the target. Only Kabu here. Check that. Kabu plus Ayesee here now. They're trying to defend this. The Glyph keeps it well above 3/4 health. Rattlesnake is falling back to their top tower to get their support some farm now. And we're going to see that Goblin's Greed begin to kick in now for Luo. And this is, you know, in retrospect, the way that Rattlesnake decided to lane this makes an absurd amount of sense. If there's any hero that you're going to put in a bad situation, why not make it the Alchemist, who can just say, that's fine, I've got Goblin's Greed. I'll be able to catch up by virtue of that alone. And instead, they got a much better break out of this offensive tri-lane in bottom. Pycat was under a lot of pressure, was held down somewhat well, especially for a one-on-one situation. Acid Spray is down. LGD will manage to get the tier 1. Very important tower kill for LGD. Allow them to make up some distance. 14 minutes in. We'll take our first look at the goal graph, and yeah. That kind of, I mean, it's 250 in favor of one squad or the other, so not the biggest switch in the world, but still very important to keep their opponents within range. God is going to be getting himself a mech, and this is kind of what I was talking about. What are they going to do with the silencer? This is one of the reasons the hero isn't played more often, is he's not a hero where you want to rush out something like an Orchid right off the bat. He just doesn't get that much out of it in the early levels, like a Queen of Pain will, for example. But he's also a hero that can do damage, who's very important, who can benefit from those sorts of things. So sometimes you'll see players split the difference and go something like a Force Staff that helps himself and his teammates. And he may end up doing that after mech anyway. And had the headdress. Yep, headdress now on him. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, looks to be the direction he's going to go. Saga is going to TP into mid. And this is just really prototypical LGD International play. Get the Druid where you feel comfortable. Get Brax off to a good start. He completed his drums. Is now on his way to an armlet. And this is what they do. They just start taking tier 1s and they try to beat you with map control. Magnus is there. Does not have a Blink Dagger. He's so close, though. This is good timing out of LGD, and I'm sure they've checked Kabu's inventory by now. They've seen he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. This is when they want this. This is going to be a free tower if they can get it in. Here we go. He's going to go for it. Silence is off, though. Kabu hung out to dry. Beautiful timing from God. Oh, my goodness. I have seen Silencer played a lot. That might be the best timed ultimate I've seen off the Silencer. Lanham going to be cleaned up in exchange. Now the counter initiation. Sonic Wave catches two. Ayesee doing good damage. Misery will be cleaned up. God still at full health. Pycat still near it. The bear will be cleaned up as well. They kited them out as well as they could. They end up going 2 for 2, but they do get the tower. So that is nonetheless a win for LGD International. Really good patience out of Rattlesnake, though, to at least get something out of that fight. They didn't just lose a tower, lose Kabu, and then fall back to their tier 3. They at least managed to get a couple of kills. Bringing Brax down, a very important kill especially. But, yeah, that ult out of God, really good. And that is really the big challenge when you play a Silencer. And if you watch a lot of Pro Dota, you've seen it go up. Hold on, he's going to be skewered, caught out. Alchemist is there, and Unstable Concoction will connect. Here comes 1437. He stole Unstable Concoction. No, he actually stole the ult. 1437 going man mode. They're going to catch Kabu. Here comes the call down. Kabu will be the return kill. Actually, they didn't get God there, so not just the return kill, but the return assassination, I guess. They killed him, and they didn't kill anyone. It didn't cost them anyone. There we go. That's the way I want to say it. You know, competently, like I actually have some grasp of the English language. 4 to 6. LGD International's beginning to close this gap a little bit. And this is where just the all-around nature of their lineup is really going to begin to show itself. Gyrocopter, and what I want to watch how Misery is going to build as well. He has picked up treads. And now what we might end up seeing is Misery shift to a off-carry position, where he's going to start taking a little bit more farm than he would normally in a standard support slot. And what you can end up doing is getting something, just skipping BKB and not worrying about survivability because you are not relied upon to be the primary damage dealer. And you'll see a hero like Gyro in that situation, Gyro in particular in this situation, just build straight up damage. Getting the treads up seems to indicate that to me. He might do something like try to get himself a Shadow Blade. He might do something like just go one big item. He's got 500 gold in the bank right now. But again, I suspect that's what they're going to do, because the flat cannon damage will be absolutely crippling to most of Rattlesnake. If they can get a decent amount of damage output coming off of that Gyrocopter, he will just maul people with flat cannon. Shadow Demon, Queen of Pain, Leshrac. 3 targets that cannot take that much damage. Call down, gonna whiff. Not catch anyone but creeps. Rattlesnake, though, forced back away from pressuring this mid-tier 1 for at least a moment. Shadow Demon's on his way to an Urn of Shadows. Very solid pickup for him. Not the richest guy in the world. Taking a look at Pycat and Brax. Brax is going to be going for that armlet build after the drums. Love this build out of him. And Luo's going to go for it. Here we go. He's going to end up blowing himself up with the Unstable Concoction. There's a disruption to buy time. Brax going to reinitiate, and another good silence comes out of God. They can do nothing but scatter like roaches running from the light. Sonic Wave will catch Misery, but now the silence is worn off. RP! Caught 3! Kabu with a big return, and Leshrac with a fantastic split earth. Most of the damaging abilities have been spent already. 2 for 1 the current trade. Can they make it more? Lanham making a run for the high ground. Brax going to infest to get himself back in the fighting shape. God, oh, Lanham. Open wounds, and he will end up silenced via last word. Now Ayesee caught out. Big turnaround from LGD. LGD. What great patience they showed. But I'll tell you right now, I thought they lost that fight for a moment. I did. After they didn't drop Magnus after the silence, I thought for sure that silence was going to wear off. That RP was going to be huge. But the problem was Queen of Pain pulled the trigger a little too early. She got 2. She got 2 great targets with Sonic Wave. But if she had waited to pour out Sonic Wave plus Scream of Pain after the RP and following the Split Earth, that could have been a completely different fight. Could have been completely different. As is, though, LGD takes a kill lead for the first time in this match. What a good fight out of both sides. RS obviously came out on the bad side of that. But the return RP out of Kabu was fantastic. Queen of Pain was patient as she could be. Pulled the trigger a little too early, but very understandably so. And now they might want to re-engage. Acid sprays down, and here we go. They're going to catch God. God's the target. He's done below half health. Split Earth only caught 1. Ayesee, though, taking a lot of damage, and God's still up. Got 1 auto attack off. They get 1 for 1. Silencer for Queen of Pain. Luo now the next target, being pursued out by Brax plus the Panda. The Panda's right there. Blink Dagger was actually the pickup on Lua. Hadn't even noticed that item until this second. Gonna guess it was new. Gonna hope it was new. But with the Blink Dagger pickup, looks like he's had it a little while. Buys him a little bit more mobility. But the beautiful thing about what LGD is doing now is they're freeing up. I mean, they're obviously taking towers and winning fights, and that's that. And we're going to see Pycat go with what I really would label the most standard Lone Druid build now. It was an oddity mere weeks ago, but it seems like you always see this now, at least here in the G1. He's going to get an armlet plus a Maelstrom just to give him that mid-game punching power. Calldown's going to catch 3. And LGD able to ward off a push at this mid tower again. But anyway, it's such a really cool way to build Lone Druid. You get up an Orb of Venom, you get up your phase boots, so on and so forth. Tranks on the Druid, phase on the Bear. And then you buy 2 Gloves of Haste for the bonus attack speed. And with those 2 Gloves of Haste, only 1,000 gold investment, you've got a lot more attack speed. And you can start pushing towers. Then from there, you build one of those Glove of Haste into an armlet. Get that item out first. Then you build the other into a Maelstrom. And by the time it's done, it's usually 20 to 25 minutes in, depending on how good of a game you've had. And you end up just being a push monster. Rattlesnake, though, rolling the dice, and they're going to come up winners here. They get Queen of Pain and Aegis. And more or less, LGD just caught napping. That's really the only way to put it. And that's owed almost entirely. Look at this vision that Rattlesnake has. This vision is just beautiful. Knew they could get away with that. Knew it wasn't going to be a problem. And got themselves a free Aegis and a free Roche kill. Beautiful play out of them. 2,000 gold the advantage for LGD. We can see a dip down there after the Roche kill. The experience very close as well at 1,000. Now, where this becomes problematic for Rattlesnake, though, is this is not a period of the game where they should be breaking even, let alone behind. Rattlesnake has the late game potential of an Alchemist, sure. That's all well and good. He is not building a late game carry Alchemist. He's built a Medallion and a Blink Dagger, okay? That is not an Alchemist who is looking to get big items and carry at 40 minutes. On the other hand, LGD International has late game carry potential out of 2 heroes, the Druid and the Lifestealer. And the Druid's off to a really good recovery. Won't say he's off to a good start. They did a good job of applying pressure early on. Rattlesnake did. And Pycat had a much harder time than I think he's had in a lot of games. Like, of all the games he's played recently on Lone Druid, I think he's had a much more difficult time finding a comfort zone in this game than he has in many of them. But as it stands, LGD, with the armlet, the phase, and the drums up on Brax, they're in great shape there. The Bear and his master. Now the armlet up on the Bear. And he'll begin that trek towards Maelstrom. He's picked up the casual cloak just for a little additional magic resistance. And BKBs are going to start to come out before long as well. I mean, obviously, Lifestealer doesn't need one. But if Gyrocopter feels he needs more survivability, a BKB just shuts down Rattlesnake completely. They are so completely all in on magic damage. That's why we see the casual cloak on the Lone Druid. It's why Lifestealer is just such a good hero in this situation. Blink Dagger up on 1437 as well. Love the mobility approach to a Rubik. Becoming the most typical approach. And Rattlesnake going to go ahead and give the okie doke. And here we go. Ayesee going to be engaged upon. What a silence coming out of God. The Aegis popped completely for free. Oh, what an RP. He got 4. Can they follow it up? Yes, they can. LGD International. They used to be a team, and they used to be standing right there. No longer. Brax, the only one still standing. He's below half health. Going to double back. And all that magic damage paying dividends. Brax comes out, buys some time. But a gigantic turnaround from Rattlesnake. Oh, wow. The AoE potential. The magic damage. So much. We just saw LGD International go from full health and having picked off a Queen of Pain for free to no health in a 5-man wipe. Rattlesnake biting their opponents in a particularly vicious way. They take a tier 1 as their prize. The last tier 1 remaining. It cost them an Aegis, but look at that gold. 3,500 gold turnaround, 5,000 experience, now their advantage. And all of a sudden, they've got some new life. This game was really getting close to slipping away from them if they didn't get a big win there. They had lost a couple of fights. They had a lot of towers cleared out. They were in real danger of losing a grip on this match, of letting the Druid get too far ahead, of letting Brax get too far ahead. But with that, Signs of Life is putting it mildly. Reached up and thumped LGD on the chest. 10-13, 25 minutes in. And an absolute slugfest here in the early morning hours, at least if you're on Eastern Daylight Time. Here in Game 1 of this best of 3. Queen of Pain has completed her Scythe of Ice, a key item to have in terms of being able to bring down a Lone Druid and bring down a Lifestealer. I mean, Scythe of Ice, key on any hero against any carry, make no mistake. But having it against those two heroes in particular, very, very important. Luo is beginning to tank himself up. Has a Vitality booster in his inventory. We'll see what he wants to build that towards. 1437. With his Blink Dagger, as mentioned, Ayesee will get himself a rune. Taking a look at Misery. He's got himself a Bracer. He could end up turning that into drums if he wants to help out. And I mentioned that previously, that not a bad pickup if you want to go sort of an off-carry approach to a Gyrocopter. Taking a look at God, the mech was complete. He is going to be getting himself a BKB. I like this decision a lot. We saw in very, very real fashion just how potent that magic damage output is out of Rattlesnake. But they are still very one-dimensional on it. The right-click, not particularly impressive. Queen of Pain hitting for just 130, even with the Scythe of Ice in her inventory. And we're going to see a smoke up out of LGD. They want some revenge, and they want it right now. We can see they're going to make their way past their own Ancient stack on towards the dire side jungle, and Rattlesnake, good game sense or good luck, one of the two, moving in the complete opposite direction right now. Now, the Empower out of Magnus is going to be a huge help to Queen of Pain. We just saw him use it there on Quap. Helps her out with bonus damage a lot. And it's certainly going to help the Alchemist with his innate attack speed. And LGD just looking to take this jungle away from Rattlesnake for the moment. Ghost Scepter was picked up on Sag. That's going to help his survivability quite a lot. And given how reliant, and it's basically a lot of right-click with some magic versus almost all magic right now. LGD going to have a chance to bring this tower down. We may see another big engagement. Kabu does have RP if he wants to use it. The Bear just going to tank through all of this right now. And yeah, it's going to be a free tower. So even though they don't find anything with the smoke, they do find themselves a free open lane. And now they may want to re-engage. Brax is leading the charge here. He's got 1,300 gold in the bank. Back to Pycat and Misery. Still have yet to see what Misery wants to spend that gold on. With 1,200 gold in the bank, he may well be banking for a Ghost Scepter, which wouldn't be a bad pickup on him. Don't think that's going to be the case, though. No, it's not. Yeah, he's actually going to get a BKB. I like that much better. Ghost Scepter, a big liability against a team like Rattlesnake if you pop it at the wrong time. But it is a cheap and inexpensive way to get heroes like a Queen of Pain from right-clicking you and so on and so forth, and Alchemist in particular, but certainly a much better pickup to get the Ochre Club on his way to a BKB. Ghost Scepter up on Luo. And yeah, this is basically going to be the tail of things. You got a lot more right-click damage on LGD International, a lot more magic damage on the side of Rattlesnake. Kabu does have his own BKB on the way, though. He's got an Ogre Club. So it makes a lot of sense, though, for Rattlesnake to be prioritizing the Ghost Scepters and for LGD to be thinking more along the lines of magic immunity and magic resistance. We may see a pipe come out soon on God after his BKB is done. Actually, a little surprised they haven't dedicated someone to getting a pipe yet. Got some items on the way via the Hexapus, nothing but sentries. Braxing on 1,800 gold. We're 30 minutes in. Taking a look at the net worth, we can see the Alchemist is on top of the board, certainly where he wants to be in. Seeing that big Goblin's Greed effect come into effect. Rattlesnake is smoked up, now moving through the Radiant side jungle. And Unstable Concoction is counting down. Brax going to be the target. There we go. But no, what a quick trigger finger. Are you kidding me, Brax? Taking through this. He's going to have the rest of his team on the way, and they've got to move quick. There's a Scythe of Ice on Brax. Split Earth is there. Call down. Going to catch a couple, though. They're trying to re-engage. They're going to catch two. That's Cabo and the Skewer back. Silence goes off. No RP can come. Kabu going to be rooted down as well. They're going to get the return kill. He's down. Landham now in trouble. Misery taking through all this damage and doing plenty of damage. Another kill goes the way of LGD International. Brax, how were you able to rage through that? That is the either luckiest rage I've ever seen. Maybe he was just raging to clear the creeps faster. But honestly, if not, I don't know how he managed to get Rage off that quickly. Utterly absurd. Just truly and utterly absurd. Wonderful play from him and the great response from his team. I'll tell you what, I've hinted at this a couple of times. There are a number of reasons why Silencer isn't played more often at the competitive level. One of them is that the timing of your global silence, I mean, it is a long silence. It is a 6-second duration silence. That's excellent. That's not as long as you would hope it would be. It's not as long. It doesn't feel as long as it sounds as long. Well, it does when you're on the other team, but the timing of it, especially on a team that is composed in large part, or against the team that is composed in large part of magic damage dealers, of heroes that are very much slaves to their own ability skill set. The timing of it has to be perfect. You can't prioritize one ability over others, or otherwise you just risk on spending a great ult on one ability. But you also can't just blow it for the hell of it. There has to be some rhyme and reason to it. Up, here we go. Kabu's gonna skewer Misery back. Free kill for sure. Great play out of Kabu. Kabu, very much a playmaker. Now they're gonna engage on Brax. He's gonna be caught out. He's down below half health, now gonna rage. That might be enough to help him get away. He's got some teammates around, but they don't want to fight right now. Ayesee's not going to give up the ghost, and the RP gonna be spent to lock him down again. The buyback immediately comes out from Brax. Roshan is up if they want to try to take it off of this. God, now the target. Force Staff gets Ayesee right on top. There's the blink ahead from Luo. The unstable concoction. Rattlesnake is on a roll. Just racking up kill after kill after kill. What an impressive team. How else can you say it? This is a team that had not played in its current format, in its current iteration. Oh, hang on, we're not done. They're going to engage on Pycat now. Here comes Braxton to fight again. Global Silence goes off. The right-click damage is going to be at the advantage of them for a moment. Telekinesis brings it back. There's going to be a skewer down to the south. Pycat still on him. Sonic Wave is going to connect. Kabu will finally be cleaned up, so they do manage to bring down the mag. In the meantime, at the high ground, Sag taking damage from Brax. Brax going to clean it up. Luo's the next target. Cooldown slows him down, and he gets a root as well. Rattlesnake spending too much time admiring their own handiwork. Hung around the Radiant jungle way too long, and now another buyback comes out of Alchemist. Both teams going blow for blow. Absolute slugfest on both sides. The return kills from LGD, though, very, very, very solid. This is going to give them an opening to go after Roche. RP should be back up in, 25 seconds. Don't think, no, don't think there's no chance he's going to make it back. And they're going to go ahead and re-engage. God going to be the target. He's down below half health. Here come Pycat and Brax. Ayesee now going to pop Ghost Scepter. Luo being focused, fired down. Misery's going to join up. They're going to bring Luo down, and Ayesee's going to drop as well. Desperation out of Rattlesnake, and it blows up in their face. Down goes Roche. Brax gets the Aegis. Sag now caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mag is there. He has RP up right now. Sag will be cleaned up in the meantime. And the Vlad's pickup on Pycat tells you they want to end this game now. They don't want to wait any longer. Rattlesnake making two big mental errors, and it cost them dearly. They hung around way too long in the Radiant jungle. Something loved me a few times here on G1 and will do so in the future, I'm sure. Talks about a lot. Hold on, there's going to be Misery caught again. And here comes 1437, though. Call down is there to force them back off the tower. And Misery barely able to survive. He's going to go ahead and try to TP home. And meanwhile, Pycat does manage to get the tier 3. And land him now. Open wounds. There's the RP, but no follow-up. And he got it. He got RP. 1437 has RP. Queen of Pain nowhere to be found. They're going to lose one set of racks. And this may be the beginning of the end for them. Oh, such a disastrous turnaround for Rattlesnake in the last 3-4 minutes. Two huge mental errors may have cost them this game. They got a slew of clutch pickoffs in the Radiant side jungle. They picked off Misery, then they pursued out, killed a couple more off, but then they just hung around. They back-padded a little bit too much. They're giving a few too many attaboys. And LGD, able to respond in kind via buybacks and TPs, managed to pick a couple off, forced them into a moment of desperation, and the choice for Rattlesnake to engage when they did and how they did cost them even more than the Aegis. I don't think they really had a chance to stop that Roshan attempt to begin with, not with Magnus down. Not with everyone hurting as badly as they were. Luo, he went for it, though. And with him down, Ayesee down, the follow-up kill on Sag as he retreated to mid lane. LGD not only got the Aegis, not only still has the Aegis, but they got Rax as well. And a team that has not prioritized late game potential at all in Rattlesnake, this is not something they can afford to have happen. Not at all. And Luo, again, having built items that have helped his team to this point, Blink Dagger, Ghost Scepter, and so on, he is not in a position to now deal with a farmed and fat Lone Druid. Not in a position to deal with a Life Stealer who is on his way to a heart to go with his armlet and his drums. They have to have a big win right now, and I don't know that they have the firepower for it. Without the Aegis, maybe. BKB's not quite done on Misery. It will be soon, though. Taking a look at the Druid. He's almost got a full Assault Cure ass on his bear. Very close to it. He's got his Maelstrom. He's got his Hyperstone. And they're just going to go for it. Rushing the tower. No glyph up. And here we go. He's going to manage to catch one more. That's going to be Pycat. But Pycat's not the one he wants to catch here. And the silence comes out. Now they can do nothing but retreat. Cooldown's going to catch Ayesee, and he's rooted. Sag doing what he can, but he's cleaned up as well. Brack still up and standing. Landham now the target. Disrupts himself. Ayesee now the target. He's going to come back out. There's an RP that catches 3, but no follow-up. Unstable Concoction catches 3. Sonic Wave to follow it up, but just too tanky. They get Ayesee. Luo is chopping wood, but Brack's still up and running just fine. Has not even lost his Aegis. Buyback comes out from Queen of Pain to try and save this, but with the racks already down, the damage is done. Brack's still alive, still has the Aegis. And Queen of Pain spending gold she can ill afford. And this should just about be that. We're going to see the ranged racks go down. Luo's going to come back out. And yeah, he's going to go for it. Acid sprays down. Here comes Ayesee doing what damage he can. They're going to be able to get God, but Pycat and Brack's just too big. Way too tanky, way too strong, and the GGs come out. What a great game out of LGD International and Rattlesnake. Could have gone either way at any given point. And it's rare that you see a game like this, even at the end, when the GGs are called less than 10,000 gold, less than 10,000 experience. Usually, by the time a team calls GG, you're going to see those deficits pretty big. But that is just a testament to how close this match actually was on both sides. Again, though, Rattlesnake with 2 clutch mental errors. Opting to hang around a little bit too long in the Radiant jungle after getting some very fortuitous picks. And then the movement of desperation trying to save a Roche that was not going to be saved in any circumstance. Cost them badly, and they find themselves trailing 0-1 against LGD International. LGD International, though, off to a great start and looking to bounce back after their last loss to their counterparts, LGD China. Hanging a 38-minute win on Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake, a team, one of the most ballyhooed in the scene right now because of their propensity for upsets. Call them David, call them the Giant Slayers. But if they're going to slay this giant, they're going to have to get to work quick in Game 2. I'm Ayesee. You're here on One More Game TV2. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Game number 2 of this best of 3 coming up next. Make sure you check out the coverage hub, G1.2p.com, during our downtime. Hang in, guys. This is going to be good. LGD International looking to roll it up into a 2-0 sweep. Rattlesnake, though, going to look to turn this donut into a breadstick and force a Game 3. We'll find out which team's up to the task coming up next.